You know what they say. History repeats itself. And just like Shonda Van Der Ark, Paul Ferguson, all their photos got exposed to the entire world. Man, listen, we saw the house, disgusting house. We saw the kids' room. We saw Shonda's bedroom. We saw all the Dr. Pepper that she had littered all over the house. It was absolutely disgusting for someone who actually went to law school. Anyway, just like Shonda Van Der Ark, Paul Ferguson, we have Wade Wilson now. And now we have photos flooding the internet. Now, we got to shout out Miss Melissa Jade because she dropped these photos. And listen, it's some nasty shit. We see his cell. We see the drugs that they tried to drop off for him. We see the whole spectrum of how Wade Wilson is living. So stay tuned because we're going to cover these pictures. And man, listen, I will say it was quite interesting to see how he was living. So without further ado, let's go ahead and check this thing out and grab your popcorn because it's a few pictures. I might do a few of these depending on how interesting the photos get. So we have the first photo. We have styrofoam plates, a bunch of cups. It looks like some books. And to be honest, I don't think he's reading those books. I don't know why those books are there. I'm going to keep it 100 with you. When I first saw this picture, the first thing I thought, why the fuck are there so many books down there? You must be a very smart man. And I mean, you have to have the time to do it, right? There's nothing for you to do other than call fucking women, desperate women, eat food, and read books. But anyway, we have a bunch of books, thesauruses, dictionaries, and I think he has a whole bunch of styrofoam cups just because, you want your own things. You don't want to use the prison stuff or the jail situation. So he has styrofoam everything so he could just use it, get rid of it, and move forward. But overall, to be honest, for a meth head psychopath, this is pretty, it's not as bad as I assumed. We got this right here is a closer up picture. It looks like some playing cards, a spoon, a bunch of styrofoam, books. I think the spoon looks like it's silver, but it's not. It's actually plastic. And some toothpaste. It looks pretty basic. And it's to be honest, it's kind of interesting that he's allowed to have, it's not exactly hoarding, but it's interesting that he's allowed to have so much stuff in his cell. Over here, we have a closer up picture. It looks like his meds. And this is how you know you're in a psych ward because they always give you that cup. I don't know. It was somebody in my family. I was young, so I'm not sure who it was, but they take the pills out of that fucking cup when they're kind of going cuckoo. Look at all them pills. I don't know if they're vitamins. I don't know if they're antidepressants. I don't know what they are. But guess what? There are a bunch of pills and you're about to take them bitches. So there you go. They kind of look like vitamins to me. So they might not, but the smaller ones, who knows? Those could be like depressant whatevers. I don't know. Just saying. But that's probably what has them all giddy and hyperventilating on the phone calls because he really be having a good time sometimes. And I know we're gonna move forward and we're gonna see all the drugs that they smuggled in for him. I know he got outside drugs, but even after they busted him, it kind of still seemed like he was still having a good time. So I don't know what they're giving him in that prison, but let's move forward. So we move forward and we get to the Wade Wilson plunger. Now listen, I don't know if he needed to do some plumbing in that cell. I don't know if maybe he clogged the toilet. I don't know how he got a plunger, but it kind of is starting to seem to me like he just has a whole bunch of random shit in his cell. I don't know if they check him. I don't know if the prison is relaxed, but listen, you could shave that shit into a whole spear if you wanted to. You could rub that against the floor and all of a sudden you have a whole projectile weapon. You know what I'm saying? But this just goes to show, even though he was in jail, you could kind of tell that Wade is used to being in jail. This is like his normal, natural element. And he's going to thrive while he's there, at the very least. Let's move forward. So now we move forward to his wall. And if you look at it, it kind of reminds you of like a 16-year-old's wall with a bunch of R&B singers, probably college applications and stuff like that. It's very reminiscent of a 16-year-old, but in this case, it's a psychopath with nothing but case files. It looks like pictures from his case. Literally anything, honestly, I think from his case that he can kind of like put on the wall and visualize, he's going to do. Because I'm seeing pictures, I'm seeing documents. It kind of just seems like he's obsessing over his situation. But my main thing is, why even obsess over that? Because you obsessed. Because you admitted. It's not like you said, nah, fuck that, I'm innocent the whole time, and you're trying to connect the dots. Even if you're guilty, you're trying to prove and connect the dots and do this, that, and the other. You literally admitted to killing these people, like 3, 4, maybe 5 occasions. It's been a lot of occasions he's admitted this thing. So I do find it interesting that his delusion is so up there that he's still listing out potential ways to be freed. You know what I'm saying? Maybe this is during the time that Ari was around. We just did a phone call with Ari. Maybe this is during the time that she's calling, so he got excited and he started pinning things on the wall. But I just find this to be absolutely useless. And I mean, bro, why torture yourself? You know you admitted this shit. Now, I was watching Melissa Jade's video. Make sure you guys go check her out, subscribe. She said that they took a picture of this light bulb when they went through his cell because he was tampering with the wiring. Now, if you pay attention, if you look at that light bulb, there is, on the right side, it seems like 2 wires have been fucked with. So, theorize all you want with that. But I think, honestly, when prisoners have no hope, and it's usually people who are facing life and shit, they're going to lash out and just do random shit. They're typically, I feel like they're going to lash out. They're going to clog the toilet. They're going to flood their cell. They're going to cause electrical fires, because why the fuck not? If you're feeling anxious today, why not just start an electrical fire? Because why not? You're going to die in prison anyway. And I think this is what Wade Wilson is experiencing right here. He's experiencing the lifer syndrome that I've just coined myself today. And he's going through the fuck it stage. And that's why I think he was messing with the light, to be honest. Fuck it, let's start a fire. Let's see what happens, Who cares? I have no hope. And a person like that is dangerous. So we move on to, it looks like a jumpsuit, a jail prison uniform of some sorts, and it's ripped up, tore up. They're taking pictures of that, probably to look for residue, smoke residue, methamphetamine residue. Because remember, they're raiding this cell, I believe, looking for the meth and the drugs that our wonderful, what was her name? Jessica? I don't know what her name was, but our wonderful girlfriend who dropped the drugs off for him gave. So now they're looking through everything. They're trying to make sure they could pin him on everything possible. Could have been using that to tie things off, maybe to block ventilation while he was smoking the meth. It could be anything. So they're taking pictures of that. And if you look in the background, we're going to move to the second picture in a minute. They ransacked his cell. I'm talking tore it up. And to be real, if you're in prison and you have 4 walls around you, it's not going to be that hard to find the shit you're hiding. I don't care if you're Houdini. You better have a good asshole to hold a bunch of shit, because they're going to be looking up in there too. You know what I'm saying? So, 95% of the time, I think the guards are finding anything you're trying to hide in that cell. We move forward. We see his soap. We see toilet paper. It's just all crummy. You could tell this is a crummy guy. We move forward. It looks like they went through his files, his paperwork, and I think you're legally allowed to have legal documents in your cell. They went through all his files to make sure he's not hiding things in between the paper. I'm talking ransacking his shit. This is a picture of the overall cell. And if you look at it, bro, honestly, the reason Wade Wilson is so chill and up until the end, right? You can tell that he's having a good time. He's talking to all these females. It's cool. It's like, it almost seems like he's not really worried about his outcome. It's because Listen, a person like Wade Wilson is a junkie. You'll find him passed out on somebody's couch in a horrible neighborhood, just in a dilapidated house or some shit. You'll find him in terrible conditions, just strung out on whatever the fuck he's doing. So when you come from that, right? That's your everyday life, and you move over to prison where everything's structured. You have four walls, you have a little bed. You know what I'm saying? You have all these girls to talk to. Oh, guess what? My little girlfriend from down the road can bring me some drugs and I can enjoy my drugs in the cell. Things are not that bad for him. You might go from regular life like, oh man, I don't even have my job, you know, my friends. What about my mom and my dad? You know, oh, my apartment, my rent's gonna lapse and they're gonna evict me and I won't even be able to do anything about it. You know, a normal person would think about all that, but a person like Wade Wilson is like, okay, I'm in jail. I don't have any responsibilities. I have some drugs. Yeah, things might not be looking too good, but this is decent. This is nice. That's why he wasn't really freaking out until they put him in the uncomfortable conditions. So you look around, you look into his cell, he has a little slab of stainless steel. He could sleep on that. The floors were clean. You know, he has some walls, he has lighting. Things aren't that bad, and that's actually sad to think about. But let's move forward even more. This is just another picture of just the cell and all the stuff he had in there. Now, this right here is another picture of the light fixture, and it looks like and my dad used to work as a counselor in the Belize prison. These guys, if there's anything available, they'll either use it to make arts and craft, they'll make something, they'll carve something, or they'll make weapons. They will do something with anything because there's such little resources that everything turns into such a big such a big thing that we can do. And again, that's what Wade Wilson's experiencing. Maybe he was tinkering with the light. Maybe he was self-training himself to become an electrician. Who knows at this point, to be honest? Because when you're that bored, bro, trust me, it may have never crossed your mind to climb up and unscrew your light fixture and go into the wires of the building that you live in. But when you're in deprivation all the time, trust me, you might turn into an electrician, just like Wade Wilson apparently was trying to do. I promise you. And that's just the sheer, just devastating boredom of being in isolated confinement, being in prison. Look, don't go to jail. It's not a good look. It's not a good look, and it's not good for your mental health. And you're probably going to be miserable. Just don't do that shit. Get a job. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's so much better to get a job than to be a fucking piece of shit. I promise you. Yeah, a job might suck, but it's better than being a homeless / murderous / piece of shit that nobody cares about in society. I promise you. Now, this is another picture right here. And his wall looks really messed up, but I think that's an easy fix. Earlier in the photos, you saw all the pictures. I think they may have just started pulling all the pictures down. And again, you're in prison. You're going to figure something out. Who knows? That might just be a sticking adhesive. That's on the wall right there. So they take a picture of the wall. I don't know what that square thing is. I have no idea. And then they take a picture of the ventilation. I don't know what they're exposing in this picture, but I think it's mainly just the state of the wall and what he had like on the wall and how it looked after everything was pulled off of the wall. But let's move forward. Now we have another picture right here. It just looks like a stool next to some iron. Listen, man, this shit is, I don't know if I could handle it, bro. I don't know if I could take this shit, bro. If I was ever put in jail, I can do jail. I could do prison. But if I'm going into jail or prison and I know I'm never getting out, bro, holy shit, what do you do? What do you do? Look at this place, bro. There are bricks. It's not even like they smooth the walls out to make things feel, it's just bricks. White paint, stainless steel. That's it. That's terrifying, bro. I do this content all the time. I used to do it over pastime. Now, then I started my channel. Now I do this as a job, and it's great. But the more cases I do, the more I think it's like, damn, just bro, don't go to jail because this shit is terrifying, bro. Imagine you do something by accident or something, 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 whatever, and you just go to jail and you're just gonna be there forever. They're gonna give you life in prison because you killed so many people, whatever. Bro, that's terrifying, bro. Listen, stay out of jail. The next time you feel like he disrespected you or this, that, and the other, or you need to kill so and so because this, that, and the other, think about this photo with that stainless steel fucking stool and those white walls, bro. That shit is terrifying, bro. That's probably the worst outcome to existence that you can think of, honestly. But let's move forward. Now the picture zooms in and they show it seems like the same stool and bolts, right? The bolt holes. And then if we look at the older picture, there's like bolts in there. So maybe he was trying to loosen something. Again, when you're in prison, your mind goes everywhere. Maybe he was trying to loosen that stool to turn it into a transporter to a different time zone. Who knows? Maybe he was trying to make a time machine with the stainless steel stool, but he was doing something with it. He's been tampering with everything in this cell. Let's move forward. And look at this beautiful view. Listen, you want views, I heard. You know, you want nice views in your nice house. Listen, that's a nice ass view right there, wouldn't you say? Shit, that is terrifying, bro. Listen, don't go to jail. Don't do it. Whatever you're thinking about doing that might land you in, don't do it. Look at your view. That's a view. That's a beautiful view right there. Some cracked glass and fogged out fucking windows. Lord help me. I would lose my mind. There's another one of his quote unquote windows to his cell. Man, listen. Man, it's not a place you want to be, guys. It's not a place you want to be. Now, if we move forward, you see the same stool location with no stool there. And that's because they removed it and they're observing the area. Now, my assumption to this, and again, go check out Melissa Jade because they have all the reports. I'm just looking at pictures. But what I'm assuming happened right here is that this was the hiding spot for the drugs. Because if he was able to unscrew that stool and he was able to shove the stuff under there, I'm just thinking logically, that would be the ultimate place to hide your drugs. I mean, keep it real. What is it? 100 square foot, 4 walls? It's not very easy to hide things. So something like this would be ingenious, to be honest. But again, this kind of seems like something he's learned from the prison system. And if you've learned it from the prison system, your bets are that the guards kind of know the method already, which is probably why they unbolted his fucking stool in the first place. Right here is just another close-up of the screws that were taken out, and they look jagged as shit. I mean, congrats to him if he was able to jerry-rig the stool loose to be able to hide it. But again, it's not like he unscrewed the bolts all the way out. All he needed was a little space so he could just hide his stuff in there. That's just my assumption to why the stool is important. So we move forward and we have some more pictures, man. And this shit's just a grim reality. Look at his view. So he had the back windows where it was all fogged the fuck out, like an abandoned store. And then his front view is nothing but other pods, man, with nothing but sweaty ball sacks, nothing but men everywhere. The guards, the inmates, just men everywhere. And guess what? Next year and the year after and the year after and the year after, men. Balls. That must, bro, again, I'll say it one more time. Terrifying. Now, again, this is his cell, but you see those black spots over there? I believe that's the same adhesive he used to put up his stuff, but they just ripped everything down because, hey, You could be hiding drugs underneath the back. You could be hiding drugs. You could be doing anything, right? So they ripped all that shit down and they just left his cell bare. But anyways, folks, that was pretty much it. We didn't really get to the drugs yet, so the thumbnail is a little misleading because there are a lot more photos that I realized exist. So now I'm really kind of just going through everything. But I just wanted to give you a little sneak peek to see if you guys were interested. There are a lot more photos. So make sure you go to the original source. I believe she sourced this herself, Melissa Jade. She's been dropping really dope content around Wade Wilson, and she's really been doing the background work behind it. But also stay tuned for me because I am going to continue looking through these photos. And we do have to actually cover the actual drugs that I said were going to be in this video. But there's a lot of photos. So honestly, bro, I'm excited to cover. I love crime scene photos in terms of like covering them. So I'm going to take my time. We're going to go through all the major photos. But this is just a beginning for y'all. But stay tuned. I love you guys. Stay inside, stay safe. And hey, listen, start the new year right, man. Listen, make one resolution. Don't do the whole, oh, my 10 resolutions. Make one thing that you're going to change and actually fucking do that shit. Years go by quickly, which is crazy to say because I'm an adult now and years go by quickly. So guess what? It's going to be a quick year. 2025 is just going to go by like that again. So figure out what you're going to do and just do that shit, big dog. Listen, just do that shit. I promise you, you'll actually surprise yourself. One thing, not 10 things, not 5, not your top 5. Don't do the one thing that you know you can do and you know you're able to do. Go ahead and do that shit, man. But until then, people, stay inside, stay safe. I love you guys, man. You guys are the shit. Thank you for an awesome live stream earlier today. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.